persistent, sense of humor, integrity, ingenuity, doesn't care what people think. You know, actually in creating, I created a brand chart for our president, and you know, you pick out certain adjectives, and one of the adjectives was unapologetic. Of course, it's got to be balanced with approachable. You don't want to be, you know, you don't want to be harsh, but decisive, innovator, visionary, thinks out of the box, plain-spoken, intelligent, deliberative, great, prolific, smooth. That's one of mine. Trustworthy, honest, clear, vision. So every one of these Post-it notes represents a quality of someone's personal brand. So the point of the exercise was to start to get you thinking about your personal brand and how you would pretty much go to market with your own personal brand. And you know, to Keith's point, managing perceptions inside your company and with your clients has always been important. And what social media creates, it creates another landscape, another plane for you to have to do that. And it almost sounds scary, but it's not so much. And we know that now that people are reading your reviews, even. Recruiters and HR people and potential employees are all reading up on you. So what are you doing? What are you doing to control that brand? How are you projecting out onto those channels? Are you having discussions with your friends and family? I know I have a couple people on the side. I DJ and I play music, and that world isn't exactly in line with corporate Eric. You know what I mean? So, so what kind of discussions are you having? Are you having those discussions with friends and family when they post on your Facebook wall? All of that is in public. So there's this new balance between your professional life and your personal life, where almost it's this line that separates them is disappearing. So that's something to really very, very much take into account.
Eric, are people reading my reviews like when I write something on Yelp?
They can. Whether or not they are or not, that's debatable, you know. And how you can find out is another way to manage your personal brand, which is going into Google or going into Bing and Googling yourself. Because the blogs that you're commenting on and the reviews that you're writing can really reflect on you. If I'm going to go onto Yelp and I write, you know, these like negative reviews about every place I go to, or at least a majority, but I'm not writing any positive reviews, that says something about my personal brand. Also, let's think about it from another perspective. You're going in and you read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week, or any leadership blog, or book, pardon me, or any new industry book that just comes out. You're going in, you're reading those, and you're writing reviews on Amazon about it. That can come up in a search engine. The types of blogs that you're frequenting and writing comments on, that is purposely coming up. The blogs want you to put those comments in there, because no matter what you're doing, if you're actually adding value to the conversation, because it is a conversation, if you're adding value to the conversation, your comments themselves are going to be rich with keywords. So if you're a social media person and you're reading Mashable, all of that's trackable via these search engines. So I talk about the intersection of your personal brand and your your company brand. How many people here have some sort of BD experience or pitched to a potential client before? Yeah, that's a good deal of us, right?
Thousands.
Thousands, yeah. What's the first thing that you do when you get that Outlook invitation? You know, what's one of the first things you do? You know, you don't know all those people about our room.
You go back into the Professor Google.
Yeah, you Google, or you go into possibly LinkedIn. Yeah, and you read up on that person. Who is Margaret from from American Express? What do I need to know about her? Okay, she's a head of HR. She has all these HR roles. Oh wait, hold on. She was in marketing at one point. So she kind of gets recruitment and gets marketing of jobs too. This is interesting. I can, she headed up the diversity council on, at Visa. So she's probably very interested in recruiting in diversity, and recruiting in diversity. So this is sort of information you can get. And if you think for a second that your potential employees or your clients that you're pitching to, or even your customers aren't reading up about you, I would dare to say that that's incorrect, because all of that information is out there. Now, fact: social media is not a treasure trove. It's not this thing, this magic chest that you turn the key and you open and magic happens and you invite them and they will come. That doesn't happen. Social media, like anything else, takes commitment. My suggestion is that because you can get lost, my suggestion always is to go in and plan this. I'm going in for a half hour, then I'm out. You know what I mean? Very, very important. It really does help. Otherwise, you can get lost in a sea of information. So what I'm going to give you, because I don't want this just to be all conceptual, what I'm going to give you is resources towards the end of this. There's a QR code you can scan with your phone, but I also put the URL in there as well, where I have an online notebook of links. And all those links are tools that you can use to monitor your brand. One of them that I've been using, two of them that I've been using, some of them I'm not entirely familiar with, disclaimer. I found them recently through research. Two of them I've been using is Twitter search and also social mention. So what you can do, well, let me back up for a second. What I've done for InSearch Worldwide and for Allegiance Group Services is I've used a Google Reader. Has anyone ever used Google Reader before? Okay, excellent. Yeah, I love Google Reader. I want you to think of Google Reader as your doorstep. 20 years ago, on your doorstep, what would you get? Harvard Business Review, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, National Geographic, Vogue, all these good magazines, right? You can, instead of going to all these different blog sites and all these online newspapers, you can actually use Google Reader for free, reader.google.com, for free, and subscribe to any of these services through an RSS feed, real simple syndication, and they all come to one place. You could divide it up by folders. So that's nice, but how does that sound on your brand? Social mention and Twitter search also provide for you an RSS feed. You can also probably put the URL in there as well to subscribe to them. So what you could do, you could separate these things by folder. So you could have a folder that says my competition, folders that are for specific industry keywords, all streaming right to your Google Reader, folders for your brand. Okay, this can be the precursor to product development. This be the precursor for any marketing campaign that you launch. And also from a follow-up sort of perspective, it can be a finger on the pulse of how successful you are. If you know that you're not really getting that many mentions out on the internet at all about a product, especially if it's internet-based, you may want to revise your marketing strategy, for example. So as we wrap up, at the end of the thing, at the end of this event, we're going to get everybody, just a one-pager, and it has all of this information. Along with that is the great article by Keith on EMC and Dell, and that will be distributed as well. And also is my contact information. I invite you all, if you have any questions on personal branding, even employer branding, or brand monitoring, please, my door is always open. I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to answer questions. So, and incidentally, any questions now?
Yeah, so you say this is, we can kind of go. One of the things that I really want to do